Okay. Um, don't know. Why is it not showing you? Okay. Um, don't know. Why is it not showing you? Okay, I know. I know. Okay. Um, why is it not showing you? Okay, I know. Okay. Okay. So you're on view now. That's fine.
We're live.
Yes, we're live. Number isn't on yet. Which is okay. Okay. So you're on view now.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay, so I'm just going to be doing that in the background. We're going to go live in a couple of minutes. Just wait a second. Okay. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so be to please post. Okay, just bear me a sec. I do apologize. Okay, so we're going to go on live in a second, and we should be fine. You can hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay. The host, Double9radio, as always. Our amazing guest going to be on live with us shortly as well. In the meantime, stay locked on, stay locked in. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. As I mentioned earlier as well, do tell a friend to tell a friend. As always, the show's always interactive as well. All you need to do is just call us live on 074 956 36899. That's 074 956 36899. And as I mentioned earlier as well, you can watch us live on YouTube as well. Don't be shy. You can watch us live on there. If you want to look at what we look like or who's Double9 always talking, you want to go on YouTube, just search for Double9radio, all one word, and you can find us there live as well. Trust me, my guest is looking fly more than me as well. I mean, like, why don't I dress this fly? Well, in the meantime, stay locked on, stay locked in. We're going to be going live shortly. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. As I mentioned earlier as well, the show is always interactive. It's on 074 956 36899. That's 074 956 3899. If you're calling from out of the UK, just add +44. You can reach us via WhatsApp as well. Stay locked in. Trust me, you don't miss this one. Get ready, yeah?
Yes, sir.
This is Double9radio, the best online radio station playing the best Afro beats 24/7, broadcasting online across the UK and worldwide. Do tell a friend to tell a friend. Double9radio.
It's Double9radio. Yes, the time is now. The time is started. Ladies and gentlemen, trust me, I've got an amazing guest on the show today. I am so pleased to have you on the show. Well, you're wondering, who is this guy? Who is this person Double9 is talking about? Who is this person Double9 is so excited to have on the show? Are you wondering as well? I am wondering too. But I'm going to be revealing the identity of this individual quite shortly as well. But in the meantime, as I mentioned earlier on the show, if you've missed it, if it's your first time here on Double9radio, welcome to the Double9radio family. We spread love, music, and peace all around the world where we can. And as I mentioned as well, you can always be part of this show because we love to talk. So we have a phone number. Our phone number is 074 956 36899. It's actually on our flyer. If you go to our Instagram page, give you an opportunity to follow us on Instagram as well. So search for Double9radio, all one word, and you would find us there live as well. It's 074 956 36899 as well. And also, if you want to watch us live, as I mentioned, my host is looking hot, is looking amazing, is looking fly, but I'm looking, what can I say? You can make your judgment on that one. If you want to see us live as well, go onto our YouTube channel, just search for Double9radio. That's double with a 9 and radio, and you will find us live there on Double9radio TV on YouTube. Anyway, without further ado, let's go straight into it as well. Hello, how are you? How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. You're looking fly too.
Oh, great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know, I just had to give you the respect there, give you the kudos that, you know what, is representing Africa live and direct as well. It's great to have you on the show. I'm so excited to have you on the show today. You know, so excited.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thanks for the invite. This is awesome.
Fantastic. So, I mean, I was going to do the introductions, but I think, you know, I'll let you introduce yourself. Who do we have on Double9radio this fine, fantastic evening?
So thanks a lot. Thanks for this opportunity. My name is Engineer Otoyin Ololomari. I am an oil and gas executive. I was a graduate of Federal Government College, Lagos, and I'm currently the global president of the All Students Association of Federal Government College, Lagos, and that's called FEGO Closer for short, Federal Government College, Lagos All Students Association. I've been working for about 30 years professional, oil and gas professional. It's taken me to 7 countries around the world. I've lived and worked in China, in the US, in Canada, in the UK, obviously, in Nigeria, obviously, in Brazil, and also in Mexico and Caribbean. So I speak quite a few languages. Fala portugués, posso hablar español también. I also some Mandarin. So Wahui Shuo Zhongwen is like I can speak Mandarin. So I've been around the world and I pick up a few languages.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm in trouble today. This is going to be hectic. You need to watch us live on YouTube if you're not watching already. It's Double9radio, you know, one word on YouTube there. You can see what I'm talking about. When I tell you, we have a fly guest here on the show. We have a fly guest on the show this amazing evening. Wow. You know what? You kept that quiet. I didn't know you spoke about 7 different languages. Wow. I think that's quite remarkable. Fantastic. I need to, you know, give a round of applause in that one. Amazing. Fantastic. Wow. Hey, so great. 7 countries. I mean, you know, it's quite remarkable because a lot of people do tend to, you know, travel, you know, throughout their careers and sometimes don't, you know, learn the cultures or learn the language. But, you know, it seems you've immersed yourself in it and you've come out, you know, really fantastic. Well, I think that's quite remarkable.
Absolutely. I think what I found out when I went to Brazil, in the office, I could get by because everyone kind of spoke some level of English. But then soon as I was out of the office environment, no one spoke any English. So I'll go to the supermarket. And this was before the days of like Google Translate and all that, you know, smartphones.
Yeah.
So I'll go to the supermarket and I couldn't get stuff I needed. So I had to like use a lot of sign language and, you know, I had like a pocket dictionary. I'll find the word and I'll point to it. And I said to myself, no, this is not going to work. work. I can't survive like this. So I had to get a tutor, a private tutor, and just immerse myself in culture, really. That's really the only way to go. Yeah.
Remarkable. That's really amazing. I'm really intrigued. Really, 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 wonderfully surprised and pleasantly happy. I know I just reversed the language there, but what can I say? We're learning languages. Anyway, if I get so excited and blown away by the amazing, individual guest we have on the show today, engineer Otoloye. I think I got that right. Yes.
That's right. Yeah. Got it.
Fantastic. Okay, I mean, you mentioned also as well that you're the president of the best secondary school in existence in the entire world as well. Amazing. Yes. Are you guys wondering why I said that? Or can I say I'm not telling you? Maybe I'll tell you later on. That is so amazing. The global president as well. And I hear that, it's going to be 50 years. There's a 50-year celebration coming up as well. I mean, we're going to get into that as well, but I just had to put that in there. Federal Government College Lagos, I'm saying it now, the best secondary school in the entire world. Go argue with your keyboard, yeah? Or call in. Number is 074 956 36899. If you have, I don't want to even say the funny words. If you're confident about your school, call in and let's have a conversation. Federal Government College Lagos is the best secondary school in the entire universe. Anyway, let's talk about your journey. Let's talk about your journey. Within that amazing school, the Federal Government College Lagos. Can you, give us a bit of an insight into your journey at the secondary school level?
Absolutely. So I went in 1982, and it was really a mistake, and I'll tell you why. My late father, bless his soul, on the common entrance form as the first choice, he put in there Government College Lagos. Now, my brother had gone to FGC Warri, Federal Government College Warri. My sister had gone to Queen's College. My other sister went to Holy Child. And so he wanted me to go to King's College to balance my sister that went to Queen's College. Right. And at the time, he thought King's College was the only federal government college in Lagos, right? It was the only unity school in Lagos. So when the letter came in, we saw Federal Government College Lagos, Ijaniki. We were like, what is this? He was shocked. I was shocked. We were all shocked. So my mom and I, bless her soul, we went over to the school, and we spoke to the vice principal academics. His name was Mr. Anumba, bless his soul as well. And then she explained to him what happened. And then he said, okay, that's fine. I should spend 1 year in the school, my Form 1. And then after that, I can transfer to King's College if I wanted to. Yeah. And I said, okay, fine, I can do 1 year. So after the first year, my mom came to me, do you want to move? And I said, no.
Amazing.
I was having fun. I was breakdancing for my house. I was kind of mini star and, doing track and field and, no. So I said, no, I don't want to move. Leave me here. And that's how I ended up. That was my story really into the school.
Amazing. You know what? I mean, Janik is such a lovely secondary school. I mean, there are lots of reasons why I say it's the best secondary school in the world. You just shared a great example of that. Where it was an error on a form, and you're a bit optimistic going in. Do you want to go in or not? There was a bit of a too minor thing, and you went in there and you experienced the spirit of it. Do you know what I mean? Which is quite amazing. I mean, from that, what would you say has been your fondest memory? At your time at Janiki?
Wow, there's so many. I was an athlete, so I remember my junior year, my Form 3, I won the 100 meters, 200 meters. We took silver in the 4x1. I was in Danfodio House, by the way. So back then, in the 80s, Danfodio ruled the sports world at Janiki. And then I think I did a 4x4 as well. So that was great. Other memories include, if you remember Cashew Bush, we used to go to Cashew Bush, and so there's this for listeners that may not be familiar. There's this bush, we call it bush, and they had cashew trees there, and this was owned by the local farmers. So we were not allowed to go in there. So we would go in there and illegally pluck cashew fruits and bring them and eat them. But every time we didn't have any food. So sometimes these farmers would hear students coming in, and they would chase them, with the cutlasses and everything else. I was never afraid. I was never scared of getting caught because I knew I was fast. I was like always going to be like in the school, like the top 5 or 10 fastest people at any time. So I had never had any problems about getting caught. So Cashew Bush was a great experience. If I got that.
Amazing. I think I remember that as well. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not being biased. Yes, I'll tell you, I did go to Federal Government College Lagos as well, the best secondary school in the entire world. I mean, I do share some similarities there. I was the fastest in my year in the school as well, fastest 200 and 100 as well, 4x1. I actually represented the school running as well. Do you know what I mean? So, it's great to see and align with great individuals from the great school as well. I mean, let's talk about the alumni association. I think it's quite an amazing thing that everyone has gone out through the gates of Ijaniki, decided to come back and give back to the school itself. I think it's just you know a great reflection of what the school or the school impact on our lives, so kind of thing, which is quite important a state of our lives going forward. I mean, but can you remember when this alumni association actually started off?
It started off in the 90s, and I want to give honor to the people that laid the foundation, really, of the alumni foundation of this alumni association. Back then, obviously, there was no these gadgets that we have now, like WhatsApp and Facebook, and to keep in touch, right? We didn't have any of those back then.
Yeah.
And in the early days, when meetings were called, people went from house to house, distributing, flyers, if you will. We're having a meeting at this day. We are meeting in somebody's house. It was just a few group of people that got together. Really, the folks from the early sets, like 1980 set, 1981 sets, they were very instrumental in forming what we now know as the Alumni Association.
Mm-hmm.
In recent years, with the advent of WhatsApp and everything else, it has really exploded, and we have been able to reach and be in touch with members all across the globe. There was a guy came from Australia in our last annual general meeting that we held last month or early this month. We have a North American association that caters to people in the US and Canada primarily. We have a Europe WhatsApp group as well, caters to people from in the UK and other Netherlands and other countries around Europe. And of course, we are well vested here in Nigeria, the global body. So it has, social media and the explosion of, smartphones has been able to, broaden the reach and also bring in the younger sets, so the people that graduated in the 2000s and 2000s and in the later decades have been, they've become a part of this alumni global body as well. And obviously there's strength in numbers, as you can imagine. So it's been an amazing journey for the Alumni Association thus far.
Sorry about, I think we lost a bit. We're back on again. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. This is what technology does sometimes, but we're back again. So yeah, I mean, you're telling us about the foundations of the alumni there, which is quite remarkable. And as you mentioned, technology again, we just talked about, was a plus to help expand the network of the alumni, which is great. You talk about someone coming from Australia, coming through, which is quite remarkable as well. But let's take a step back, quickly. I mean, what inspired you, to become, task, isn't it? What inspired you to take on that role?
Great question. So I look back at my journey. I've been a beneficiary of schools in the US that have been built not by the government, but by great alumni of the school. So by God's mercy and grace, I attended one of the finest institutions in the world, in the US. And the strength of that school and the reason why we want our kids to go to those schools is based around the fact that they have a very strong alumni body. And these schools, I'll call them like Ivy League schools, We know them. They have the staff. The strength of these schools is not based on how much the government gives them necessarily. It's based on the past students that invest so much and pour so much into those schools. And I was able to attend one of those schools, not because I knew somebody or had connections or anything else, but the generosity of people that I'll never ever meet, right? But they have various scholarship programs, and I was a beneficiary of one of those, and that's what helped me to go to my master's. So my own personal experience, I've been a beneficiary of a strong alumni association, and for me, I had to make sure I extend that courtesy. I kind of paid forward, and what better way than to serve in my own secondary school. Remember, Eugeniki had a big part in our formation, in my formation. I'll speak for myself. We spent our formative years there. I got in there when I was 10 and I left at 16. So these are really our formative years. I've had the pleasure of monitoring my classmates through 40 years now. And by and large, the people, the way they are back then is how they are right now. Like the ones that are jovial and playful, that's how they are. The ones that are, so we've turned out, to be kind of a replica of those early stages, what we were back then. So it has played such a mighty role in my life. And, what better way than to give back to the school that has done so much for me than to serve in the Students Association. So I was vice president for 2 terms before. I served under the immediate past president, Madam, I'll call her Senior Tong Anderele. So I've been serving for at least over 6 years now.
I do apologize. It's technology is not playing ball today. We will. And make sure we do get on the show. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're still back with our amazing guest today as well. It's just one of those things. Technology sometimes can be your friend or can be a challenge. I do apologize, Engineer Tony. I do apologize today. This connection. That hopefully this has been resolved as well. Technical team are working to get this resolved as we speak.
I do have some feedback here. Some people are live, people are connected.
Okay, so I think thank you for sharing the story around why you do have some feedback. Okay, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you now.
Okay, fantastic. I do apologize. Technology sometimes can be good, can be bad. Hopefully this is being resolved as we speak now. Okay. As I was saying, I'll say thank you for sharing that, what inspired you to become the global president of the Alumni Association. I think it's quite remarkable that, yes, a strong alumni can inspire others, can help people, can elevate them, in achieving greater things that they thought they could never achieve. So, and also, I mean, I must say you're an inspiration as well with all the experiences you gave us here. You went through your career being able to speak about 7 different languages. I think it's quite remarkable going forward. So now let's talk about this milestone. What does this 50th anniversary mean to you? What are we celebrating actually? Let's start from there. What are we celebrating on this 50?
So if school was formed in 1975, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So the school was founded 50 years ago, next month. So we're celebrating 50 years of the existence of the school, really. So back in the the 70s, the federal government had this initiative about unity schools. We can talk about that as well. It was the concept of unity schools was introduced to really foster national integration and cohesion among students from different ethnic and religious backgrounds as a way to create platforms for young Nigerians to interact, learn, and live side by side, and in a way to sort of de-tribalize the citizens. So back then, and so I'm sure your experience was the same. We shared dorms or bunk beds with people from all different socioeconomic backgrounds, whether you were the child of a senator or a minister,
Correct.
or the MD of First Bank or National or the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, whatever. We all went to those schools. We all ate together, sat together, did sports together, and I think. Can you hear me? Yes,
breaking the barriers of all the students coming together in the melting pot.
Exactly. So we had many schools formed around that time, around 1974, 1975, 1976. So a lot of these unity schools are celebrating their 50 years in this season. So we happen to be formed in 1975, and so that's what we're celebrating. It's 50 years of existence. We're 50 years old next month.
Amazing. And what does that celebration mean to you? What, if you look at it, what would be that one thing you would say, you know what, it's been worth it. It's been amazing. It's been a great journey.
Wow. I wasn't there 50 years ago when it started. I joined the school 7 years later in 1982. But I've heard the stories, initially before we moved to the current site where you and I went to, they were sort of Yaba Tech, and they were kind of all over the place. And to see the transformation, and for me, when I visited school, knowing that this institution has been around for that long, and the values are still being upheld. I mean, I go in there, and you remember dining hall. I walk around dining hall. I'm like, yes, I remember. Grabbing food here. I go to the sports field. I remember running to our sports over there. So for me, it's a testament to the staying power and the longevity. And kudos to the federal government, for supporting this initiative, and also obviously the old students, that the various stakeholders that have been able to maintain these institutions, for decades.
Amazing. I mean, you've shared some kind of touching stories there. I close my eyes and I remember the dining hall. I remember the track and field as well, when we have inter-hospital states. Where we are battling to be the champions of the household names. There we have the Macaulay, we have Danfodia, we have El Kanemi, we have Morimi, House Jaja, all those houses as well. I think it was great. I love the names of the houses, because it reminds you of those warriors, of those.
Exactly.
You're part of that history.
Yes.
I think it's quite amazing. But if you look at the school, and I mean, I love the fact you highlighted that it was a melting pot, because for me, I could have never possibly met someone so closely, someone from from the north, for example,
exactly.
or from the east, for example. Everybody came together to understand. You know what? It's a melting pot. Understand each other's culture. Everybody got along well. There's no you're this, you're that, and it was just an amazing experience.
It was.
But I mean, with that being said as well, if you look at the school, I mean, in your view, what would you say is the most significant achievement over the past 5 decades of existence of the school itself?
Well, I could point to several things. For me, just recently, I think I would like to, if I was to pick one thing that stood out. About a couple of years ago, there's a computer lab and computer science sort of teacher. And out of this, they formed a group of students that did a coding competition, and these
Wow.
students were first in the country. So this was not just community schools, this was all schools, private schools, every kind of school. They were first in Nigeria, and then they went on for African level competition in South Africa, and they came third in Africa. So when I think of that, and I know how little that they had, but to excel at such a level, to me, it's just a testament of the resilience, the hard work. And I see this all the time. I'll give you another example. When I was in the US and we had an intern come in, she was a PhD student from Stanford, and she came in and we just started talking. And one day she just mentioned, oh, my parents live in Janiki. I was like, that's not usual. Like, if people live in Lagos, they live on the island in Ikeja, Surulere, Yaba. So I have someone living.
Yeah.
And I said, how come? And she said, oh, there were teachers there, and I went to school there. I was like, no way. So she graduated in 2001. She's in 2001 set. She might be listening. And her name is Funke. And it blew me away that this was someone that left that school, as recently as 24 years ago, back in 2001, managed to get into Stanford to do a PhD, and now she works for one of our consulting company, a global consulting firm. So time and time again, we see this in people that have excelled in and we can talk about that later on. Various alumni that have excelled, still from those humble beginnings. Really, I mean, there are private schools that that charge thousands of dollars, thousands of pounds, right? But to see us punching above our weight despite those limitations that are there, it's just amazing. To me, that's what keeps me going, and just gives me a motivation to do more for those students.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. Because if we look at across industries, we look at the media industry, for example, stars, artists. Don Jazzy, for example, is an artist who I believe went to Ijaniki. I remember him quite well. And we look across the fashion industry. Ade Bakare is another individual who went to Janiki as well. I know a very well renowned fashion designer. So I think yes, I couldn't agree more. It was such an amazing place to meld together, different cultures, building confidence, and people just having long lasting bonds.
Exactly.
Where you've been to school together. Secondary school until today, you're still having that conversation going. But I must ask you this question as well. I mean, if we look back as well, there used to be some legendary teachers or legendary house masters in there. Is there any particular one that stands out to you? I mean, there's one, I think, if I can remember. I can't remember his name, but I'll try to remember his name maybe after your you give me an answer. Is there any legendary teacher you could think of, or events, or maybe traditions? You think, oh my gosh. You know what? That I can remember that. It's still etched in my mind till today.
Well, in terms of teachers and leaders, I think I have to start at the two women principals that laid the foundation, really. They were before my time. Mrs. Chukuma, she was the first principal before they moved to the current site. So she was the principal from 1975 to 77, the first 2 years. And
wow,
she's still alive. She's in Houston, Texas. She turned 93 earlier this month.
Wow.
I had the pleasure of meeting with her about 8 years ago, I think on her 85th birthday. One of our alumni, Dr. Ayo Ajin, he hosted us in Houston, Texas. He hosted her on the occasion of her birthday, and we all gathered around her and took pictures with her. So that was amazing. I got to meet her, and she's still alive today. So she laid the foundation. And then after her, the late Mrs. Kafaru, she was the second principal. She was the first principal at the new site. She passed away just 3 years ago.
Yes, rest in
At the age
peace.
of, I think, about 88 years old. So I need to give a shout out to them. They laid the foundations of the school the way we know it. And when I went in, and they both left to Queen's College after their stint at Janiki. They were both Queen's College principals after they left Janiki. So
Yeah.
I met Mr. So in terms of other people that I remember that really stood out, of course, Mr. Bolade was the principal during my time. And they were very strict disciplinarians. The way they ran the school, there was just a sense of dread when you heard them coming. People just kind of scampered all around because you didn't want to be seen. You want them to see you or pick something up that you were not doing right. Other teachers that were memorable during my time, Mr. Suagu, they used to call him Mad Wayek. That was his nickname.
Wow.
He was the Duduwa house captain, I believe. Mr. Edo was the Jaja house captain as well. Sorry, Mr. Suagu was Danfodi house captain. So
Amazing.
So he was known for his
Amazing.
I used to chase students all around the place. So there were other teachers that were known for their being very, very strict in terms of discipline. They like to twack, or they like to whack you or koboko you.
Yeah.
So we know them. We don't have to mention names. They definitely forged a big part of our memories. In terms of traditions that happen, I mean, that still go on now. Oh man, there's so many. Do you remember walking down Sesame Street? Do you remember Sesame Street?
Yeah.
So we have those. We still have those. Those interactions along Sesame Street. Let me call them that. People. Some students would scale the fence and go to Okoko Maiko, go to Era Village and do things along those lines, various activities to Okoko. The annual Era race, so I think that was in the second term, where we would do the kind of long distance race. I think it was 9 kilometers back and forth. It was 4.5 kilometers there and 4.5 kilometers back. During the Harmattan season, I think it was in February or March. And back then,
wow.
You would, I remember my junior years, I would try to really run and get a good position, and I would just no way. I was a sprinter. I couldn't hang. But the students from the north, they did fantastically, year in, year out. It was just like at the Olympics.
The long races, yeah.
The long distance, exactly. They just kept going. They just kept going. Just like you have in the Olympics, you have athletes from certain countries like like the Kenya or East Africa. They do much better than everybody else effortlessly. So in the era races, the kids, the students from the north, oh man, they just kept going and going and going. So I realized, look, I am a short distance. I'm a sprinter. I'm a short distance. Leave this thing for these guys. That's not my forte. It's not my area. So era race, that's still a tradition right now, and of course various activities that I don't want to mention on air, but I think for those that carry out, we talk about this within my class groups. So we call them commando expeditions. So for those that know, they know. I'm not going to translate that, but we had these commando expeditions as well that people went on. As well. So I mean, it's just a lot of memories, just a lot of good memories.
Wow. I must commend you. Like, seriously, your memory is impeccable. Like, I couldn't even, it was when you're talking about, it's like, oh my God, yeah, you're right. Era, the marathon,
yes,
the British, all of that, and the scaling and all of that. That's remarkable. I mean, for me, wow. I mean, memories. I remember the first night. The first night I was at the boarding school.
Yes.
It's still etched in my mind because I forgot I was in school. I forgot I was scared. When the housemaster came in, on the day to, wake us up, like bang on the door, because normally I I sleep on the bunk bed at home as well.
Oh,
So I forgot when he came in and banged the door, bam, 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 bam. You know the lights are off.
yes.
I'm thinking, oh my God, who is that? Who's that banging the door? You know, for a split second. Then I realized, oh my God, no, no, no. Oh wait, I'm in school. I'm in school.
Oh,
You know, that memory still
definitely. Bro, my first night, my first day. Um,
in my mind. It's crazy.
and for me, being the last born, of my family, I was around my mom a lot. My mom took me everywhere. So I remember when she dropped me off, and I she was about to leave, and for me it was like, what do you mean you're about to leave? It didn't click that I was actually going to spend my time there without my mom being around. So I remember crying. I remember crying up until when we had to go for dinner in dining hall. And so they just
Wow.
told us we have to go to dining hall, and we all walked over there with our plates and cutlery and everything else. And that was it. At that point, I knew that hey, I had to level up, I had to man up. And but my first day it was tears. I cried because I missed my mom so much because I was just all I grew up. I literally she used to put me in her handbag because I literally went everywhere with her. So that was my first day in school. I remember that.
Amazing, amazing. You know that first day is still etched in my mind as still till today because you know myself. I'm a school. Relax, relax. You know, so
Yeah.
I could I could never forget. I could never forget.
And we
You
had
know,
no phones. We had none of that stuff back then. There was no like, you couldn't, once you were there, right? Until visiting day, until like, visiting day happened I think
yeah,
back then it was every fortnight, I believe.
yeah,
Yeah.
before night. You
Yeah.
know, do you remember? Did you used to like when someone does something like cooks? I'm not meant to be saying this, but
Yeah. I know there's stuff we're not meant to say, but we all know we all did that stuff, right? Where we can talk about it now.
and someone would just shout mass, right? And they just rip the bucket is ripped. They rip the whole thing. It's like what the oh my gosh.
No, you're so right. So we would illegally cook meals with boiler rings, right? So you would
Yeah.
don't have, and it was so funny. Someone would have some rice, and then there was this guy. So you need to have a steak, and to have a steak in the prepared meal, you need to bring something. So there was a guy that had spices. I remember he had his own was like he had some pepper and some salt. So you
Mm,
needed him, right? Somebody else had geisha for the sauce, and then somebody had
yeah.
rice. Then somebody had the boiling ring. So he was always a stakeholder. So we had an
It was a
agreement. So,
boss.
so the stakeholders would first, sit around the bucket and they'll eat. And then when they were done, it would be this mad rush, right? Everybody else would just go in and just start grabbing and start eating.
Yeah.
So there was this one particular guy, bless his soul. His name is, he's late now in my set. His name is Israel, by the way. We used to call him Father. He came to school with a serving spoon. I mean, really. So because it was like everybody take a spoon and you leave. So he would just come take one spoon, one scoop, and that would be like 20% of the meal. So I mean, it was so funny. And you pick up skills, right? I remember having to learn how to open crackers without making any noise because once you open a biscuit, like that noise, that sound it makes, it attracts everybody else. Just like in the Wild West, when an animal is killed, like vultures see that and they all come. So if you open crackers at night, everybody
Yeah.
hears the sound, everybody comes in and then they take from you. So I had to learn a skill
Yeah.
to open the crackers softly without making any noise at all. So I mean, it was all kind of crazy things that we had to learn back then just to survive. But yeah,
Wow. Wow.
those meals in the
Wow.
dorm
Those,
were
those,
that was
those, I know those are great memories. I mean,
definitely.
we've kind of like shared great memories, had discussions. We've looked at, the history from my eyes, from your eyes, my eyes. It's almost similar. It's almost same experience as well.
Yeah.
Actually, this remain consistent and actually pass through those amazing gates.
So Come again. It broke up for a while.
Oh, sorry, I do apologize. I mean, I said, what would you believe has remained consistent and has defined the school's identity across generations?
Absolutely. Great question. So I mentioned back then why the Unity schools were created. It was to foster a sense of national integration and to detribalize the students, citizens. I think that still remains today. That core
Yeah.
Is that foundation is still remains today. So when I visit the school and I walk around, and recently we had the speech and prize giving day. So the students that excelled academically came up, and I see the students, and I see the same thing as we saw back in our day. You see kids from all over the country, really, from the east, from southwest, from the west, from the south, from the north, and they're all together. So I think that is the only, and as I look around the educational landscape in the country, it has been segregated into socioeconomic strats, different categories, right? And where you have the elites, the schools that they go to, it's the people that have school fees in the order of millions of naira a term versus what the federal government colleges maintain. I'll say affordable fees, right? So that spirit is still there today, as it was 50 years ago, where you have students it still brings together students of all socioeconomic backgrounds, tribes, religions, still brings them together under one roof. So I think that's great. That's the only place. It remains the only vehicle where you can get that if you want that for your child.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize. There seems to be a bit of connection breaking up back and forth there. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, again, I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen, but as you know, we're trying our best to try and resolve it as well. But as you know, agency is always the best in the world, as we've been talking about it there as well. You give us a bit of an insight into why the consistency is still there with the school identity across generations. It talked about that need for diversity, which has helped shape a lot of futures and is still shaping futures till today. I mean, let's move on quickly. Looking ahead, we have the celebration coming up. When is the celebration happening? What is the celebration about? Who's going to come? If you want to participate, if you want to be part of the celebration, how can we be part of the celebration?
Absolutely. Great question. So it starts off October 10th, so next month. That's a Friday. And we have so it starts off, it's a week-long celebration. So it's from October 10th to the 18th, right? And we start off at the school. Since you left, there's a hall now. We call it Mrs. Kafaru Hall. And that's where that's where the school hosts like the speech and prize giving day, etc. So we're going to have an alumni panel discussion. It's going to be the opening ceremony, alumni panel discussion. There's going to be a Jumu'ah service for our Muslim brothers and sisters. And then we're going to spend the night at the school. So they actually have a sleepover at the school, right? We're going to eat in the dining hall. We're going to relive those memories. It's always a great time for me because it brings back memories, obviously. You're sleeping in bunk beds, you are taking your shower in the bathrooms, you're walking down Sesame Street, you're going to the dining hall, they're catering to you, you're walking around the classroom, the field. It's just amazing. So we're bringing back memories. We're going to pay a visit to the Oba of the Janikin, who has been a long time stakeholder in the school. So that's what kicks things off. You can imagine how exciting that's going to be, right? And we have Thanksgiving service on the 15th. We have a cultural day planned. So we have a cultural day planned, activities around that, celebrating our heritage. And then we have a like a grand finale, a games and dinner night where it's more formal. We'll have prizes given out. We have dinner, the black tie dinner. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Amazing. It sounds like it's going to be an exciting time. You know, bringing back the nostalgia of walking out Sesame Street, going to the dining hall, eating those amazing, lovely, lovely meals in there as well. So you guys going to be lining up? Are you going to be rounding as well?
No, we're not going to be lining up. I think we're going to have some designated tables in there. We will eat after the students are done so that we don't we have more room, and we don't like, so after they serve their meals, that's when we get our meals. We're going to have specially catered meals. I don't think we'll eat exactly what they eat, so it will be a bit of a we have more pieces of meat, etc., compared to what they would have
back in the day.
In terms of, you asked the question, how can people get involved? So right now we're doing a fundraising campaign. It's called a Buy a Year program. So the way it works is the school is 50 years old, 2025. You calculate how many years you've been out of the school. So I left in 1988. So I've been 37 years since I left, and I'm going to pledge a certain amount per year. I'm going to buy a year. So for example, I could say 1,000 naira per year. So I end up pledging 37,000 naira. So as a way to raise funds, and each class set is competing against each other. So we capture the people from each individual class set, so their contributions. So right now we have, so there's a competition going on. Right now, my set, thank you to my set members, we are ahead. I think we have about over 40 donors that have donated into this fundraising campaign, and then followed by the 1985 set. They're also a very strong community. So there's a little bit of a, and then we have people from the 1982 set, they're up there, 86 set, etc. So they're going to award a prize to the set that had the most donors, right? So it's a bit of a friendly banter competition between our sets. I think in the alumni body, the individual class sets tend to be a bit more cohesive, right? Because you spend 6 years with these guys, so you know them in and out. That's to be expected. So I think this is a way to kind of have a little friendly competition between us as well.
Amazing. I think maybe I'll probably definitely get involved, and definitely contribute to the amazing cause. And I think I'm going to be calling out all the other sets as well. You need to give me the list. Maybe when I'm on the show, I'll just have a segment of calling out the Janiki sets that are not really contributing and find them. Yes, I'm talking about you. I know you're looking at me.
Thank you.
Down there. I'm talking to our viewers. I can see some of our viewers are watching via YouTube at the moment. So yes, I'm talking to you. You've not donated as well. As I mentioned earlier, the number's 074 956 36899. That's 074 956 3. I mean, it's going to be a great event, and I know it's going to be a great event. It's going to be remarkable. It's going to be wonderful. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, we can get some, maybe some live coverage of the event, and we can repost it here.
Yes.
I mean, being a global president, it's not an easy thing to do. A lot of eyes on you, a lot of pressure, but you are giving us great leadership going forward, which is quite remarkable. I want to say a big thank you.
Thank you
for all you're doing and all you will be doing, here and in the future as well. I mean, if you had a message to share with the current students as they become part of the next generation of alumni, what would you say to them?
I think that the message to them is the message I share with students everywhere. In my capacity as I talk to students, I also am a member of my alumni, my university alumni, and I interview high school students that want to get into Stanford. So the message is the same thing, regardless of where they are, socioeconomic background. Hard work, discipline, hard work always pays off. There's no substitute for these recipes. Are indisputable, regardless of where you are in the world, right? Whether you're coming out from Federal Government College Lagos, Janiki, or you're coming out from Eton in the UK, or any other school, right, world-renowned school, there is no substitute for hard work.
Amazing.
The advantage I think they have, that is to succeed in the school, by default, you have to work hard, because you don't have some of the creature comforts that other people in let's say more advanced nations may have, right? So you discipline yourself to study when there's light. You remember, it's not a given, right? I remember doing some prep work with candles. So you have to discipline yourself to study when there's light, to use the resources, like computing resources. You have a certain allocated time. You don't have the luxury of, you have your own laptop, right? And everybody, like kids in the UK or the US, like the high school, or by the time they do A levels or O levels, they have their own laptops, right? So because of the constraints around infrastructure, you have to be, it must, be very disciplined. It must be hardworking. So that is an advantage that they have, because it's already inbuilt in them. So instead of looking across the fence, oh, I wish we had this and that. No, you can do much with what you have. It's about what you have. What do you have in your hands, and what are you doing with it? And then taking that forward when you go to university. When you go into university, they already have a strong foundation of hard work, of discipline, that can use that as a kind of like a leap off board to the next phase of their life. And you mentioned some people that have been successful. You mentioned Don Jazzy and in that space. We have people on all different walks of life. I can go on the current MD, CEO of Guarantee Trust Bank, one of the biggest banks in Nigeria. She's from my set, Miriam. She's from Ijaniki. We've had people in political positions. We had a minister during Obasanjo's time, in 2003 and 2005. Minister, I'll call him senior, because from the 1962 set, Emeka Chikelu, he attained those levels in political office, right? Currently Bello Jibo, from 1982 sets as well, he's in the customs. We have people in the medical field that have excelled. Dr. Jimmy Coker, as recently as last week, we had one of ours on 1985 set, Dr. Femi Omololu. He's part of the permanent secretary in Lagos State, again, in the medical field. And we've had people in financial institutions, Mr. Chuka Eseka, he's a non-executive director of Providus Bank, and also Vivetos Capital, the MD founder. Paul Owanibe, you probably know him, the MD of Landmark, the Landmark, the Landmark Africa real estate company.
Yeah.
Probably know him. He's raised in the UK. Chris Ubossi in the communication space, Toma Deole as well, communication space. So we have alumni, and I could go on and on and on, right? And our alums have done amazing things all around the world. If it's entry into Harvard Business School entrance, or in various industries across the world, businesses, captains of the industry, clergymen, pastors. We have my great friend Paul Rotua is a pastor, and we have pastors Dr. Ayo in the US. So we have in all walks of life. And also, I don't want to downplay, I just don't want to recognize folks that have been successful in maybe in terms of likes or viewerships or followerships, etc. I meet and I interact with widows that that their husbands are dead, and or the husbands have left them, and they're raising kids on their own in this environment. You know how hard that is. So I take my hat off to them. There's people from all walks of life that are just doing so much. There was one of our former presidents, and for the Alumni Association, we've had people that have really served the Alumni Association. We have 3-time presidents, Senior Soji, and then Senior Adiremi as well. They have really done a lot for the association and all the various past presidents that have served. So it really cuts across the board. We keep raising amazing people, and that's what we're here for. We're here to support that initiative because for me, that's what gives me the most pleasure, just to see these young people rise up and become what they were designed to become, to see that and to
thank you for that.
and witness that.
Thank you. That's really inspiring from yourself. I mean, it's been an amazing time with you here, and reminiscing back of the days. The Sesame Street is still in my head now. I'm sure people will wonder, what's this guy talking about? What are they talking about? Or the or the bush, or flying over those high jumps. We were practice for high jumps then. It's wonderful. When I say mass, you already understand what I mean. There as well. I think it is amazing. It is amazing. And this is to tell you, what, Ijanik is a great school. It's still a great school. And a big thank you to you, global president, with all the work you're doing, with all the dedication you're putting in there. It's not an easy thing to do, but you are spending your time, to make sure, the school and alumni keeps ticking along. I want to say a big thank you for all you do. And I pray that, more grace to what you're doing. And I'm looking forward to the amazing celebration, which kicks off on the 10th of October, you mentioned, as well.
Yes. So,
ladies and gentlemen, if this is the first time you're hearing about it, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I couldn't do this alone. I want to say a big thank you to firstly the other members of the executive committee, especially the chairperson of the 50th anniversary planning committee, Mrs. or Senior Tom Aderele, and all the members of the committees across the globe in the North American chapter, the Senior Dupe, the European chapter, and all across the board. So it's not just about me, really. There's so many people, and all the people that have contributed and sacrificed over the years to make the association what it is today, and all their sweat and blood and efforts. I want to say thank to all of them. We're just riding on the coattails of people that have come before us, and I'll be foolish not to honor them and recognize them. So thank you for your continued support.
Amazing. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you mentioned those names there as well. Hopefully, maybe one day we can get them on the show as well to get an insight to what they've been doing and how else they can inspire the upcoming generation. Because yes, at some point the baton will be passed along to the new generation, and see that what we can explain, we can achieve. I mean, you mentioned great names there as well, which for me again is inspiring. That wow, these are people that went through the same gates I went through as a teenager going through secondary school. I want to say a big thank you again for taking time out to come on Double9radio. It's been a pleasure. It's been wonderful to have you here. I must apologize on the technical glitches we had there as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize that. Hopefully that will not be our next experience here on Double9radio. It's quite a rare occurrence. But in the meantime, I want to say a big thank you to engineer Otonye Lolo Mari, who's been here giving us a great insight into the amazing celebration of the 50th anniversary of the Fego Closer, coming up on the 10th of October. Trust me, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be wonderful. I'm hoping that, yes, we will have some live feed of the, show or the event coming up on Double9radio. And if you have kids, maybe you're thinking, what secondary school should I go to? Should I need to ask you that? No, I'm sure you already know what secondary school you're going to send your kids to. You already know. Because they'll kind of come out as superstars. They're going to come out as amazing individuals. They're going to come out as respectable members of the society, and also very, very, very successful going forward. Mr. Otonye, I want to say a big thank you for coming on today's show. It's been remarkable. It's been wonderful. It's been great. But before I let you go, I always do this. What will be those 3 words you like to describe Janiki as? Is there any particular word or three words, a word you want to describe Janiki as, the Federal Government College, the greatest secondary school in the entire global universe, in the universe? Anyone?
Number one, number one, number one. Especially down for your house. Number one.
Please, we might have a bit of an issue there. You know, Macaulay was the house. But let us not call it houses. Let's keep it you know, mute, you know, keep the houses out, because Danfodio, there were nothing around then. You know what I mean? It was Macaulay. Macaulay was a house to be in. You know, during my time. But I'll let you go. I'll let you carry on. Please carry on.
One more thing. In order for people to keep up, please check us out on our social media handle. Is the easiest way. Fego Closer on it. If you Google Fego Closer, FEGOCLOSA, it'll show us all our social media handles: Facebook, Instagram, X. So that's that way you can, regardless of where you are in the world, we'll post updates there. You can get in touch. You can get connected. If you don't know about the All Student Association, please look at our social media handles, get connected, get plugged in, and there's so much that you can do. We're looking forward to seeing as many as can be part of this. It's going to be great.
Fantastic. And we will be tagging that handle on over to Double9 Radio and check that. We'll be tagging that as well, so you can engage and be part of this amazing innovation. Mr. Otonya, I want to say a big thank you. You know, I don't mean to shut down Danfodio, because I can see people chatting away on you know, on YouTube now. Say Danfodio, oh, I see you, you know. And I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's on the chat. Mr. Kala Orekoya, as well. Say a big thank you for joining. Mr. Biodu, I see you. Mr. Shago, I see you as well. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been amazing. It's been wonderful. Make sure you do save Double9 Radio as one of your favorites, or make sure you do subscribe to our YouTube channel so you know when we're going live, and also follow us on Instagram as well. Mr. Otonya, it's been amazing. It's been wonderful.
Thank you so much.
I want to say a big thank you for joining us on Double9 Radio. I've had such a great time, and you know, it's so refreshing that, you know what, it's a great experience. It was the same experience for you. It was, and it's a consistent. A big thank you again for all you're doing